I'm Mark Lack on Business Rockstars. We're here to inspire, inform, and connect a community of entrepreneurs. Joining us right now is my dear friend, Dennis Yu. He's the CTO of Blitzmetrics. Get ready for this one, because this is going to be a fun segment. Dennis, tell us about Blitzmetrics, brother. What's your company?
We create jobs for young adults through mentorship, and we teach them digital marketing. And this is what an apprenticeship is, where people are actually learning and doing, and it complements the school system. And what's cool is that when you can tie the passion that these kids have, it could be the Golden State Warriors, or they like languages, like we work with Rosetta Stone, then they're able to do something that they love, and the employers are able to test out digital marketing staff that's actually following processes, not like social media posting kind of stuff, but driving direct revenue off of social. So we work closely with colleges. We have a lot of companies that we work with, and we work with a lot of businesses as well. So all of these, they tie together.
Something that I love about you is that you are sort of like the pioneer of the industry. And what I mean by that is you've gone out, you've done all the hard work, you've done all the studying, and as the genius that you are, this is my words, I know you're very humble, but as the genius that you are, you've gone out and you've proven, here's how a company can give us, an enterprise company can give us $1 million, and I'm just making up this example because you have way better studies than this. They'll give you $1 million and you'll turn it into a $10 million return on ad spend. In some cases, $30 million for the $1 million that they gave you. Ridiculous return on ad spend. And that's why so many companies come to you hoping that you'll be able to do the same thing for them. And what you've done is you've taken your genius and you've turned it into, because you have a background in like programming and coding, you've turned yourself into a software and checklists and procedures that other young adults can learn to follow, and then go and take your genius skills and implement that for any business. Is that accurate?
No, it's not. It's not about me. It's
I
like
know.
a lot of people look at me because they don't realize that actually what they want is the process. So every business.
But that's what I'm saying. You've created this process.
Well,
you're just very humble.
We've wasted over $1 billion of other people's money, so there's that in the last 20 years. But look, any entrepreneur that's trying to grow a business, or an existing business, we like taking those in, we're trying to find out where they're driving their sales. Can we identify exactly who their customers are? And then the idea of using online marketing, whether it's social media marketing, email marketing, is whatever's generating yield, can we get another 20%, 30% more on top of that? And there's processes that accomplish this, so it's not risky, it's not black box, there's no hocus pocus, and it's not, I mean, we have some software and we have some other things like that, but it's really just following a set of checklists, which is how do you amplify what your best customers are already doing for you? Because marketing is always about getting your customers to speak for you.
So a lot of people are making mistakes, and that's why they come to you for help. So what are some of the common mistakes people are making when it comes to spending money online?
No funnel, outsourcing to an agency without understanding what they're doing, believing it's a technical problem instead of an internal process problem, trying to buy software when really they don't have processes.
Like buying Infusionsoft, because that's got to be...
Infusionsoft is great, but if you don't have a database, if you don't put content inside the tool, if I have the best golf clubs in the world, I'll still get my butt kicked by whoever your favorite golf player is. It's not the tool.
So at the end of the day, people need to, you just named the problem, so they need to actually solve those things first.
Right.
Okay, so when you come into a business, what are some of the infrastructures that you start to first look at? Because some people say people, product, process. What do you look at when you go to a business?
We actually call it people, process, and platform. But think about the emergency room. When you go to an emergency room, nobody sold you, nobody told you, nobody advertised, come to the emergency room. They have a clear problem, and the first thing, we have a 6-phase process, you of course know. The first one is plumbing, right? That's taking all the vitals. And once we have all the vitals and the blood and all this kind of stuff, the second is we want to do analysis against your goals. Your goal is, I want to grow the audience base, I want to speak on TV, I want to sell more of this particular kind of product, I have this thing that I'm launching, right? And if you've got the analysis to figure out what's wrong, it looks like looking at the X-ray, you have lung cancer, you have a gunshot wound, you have whatever it is, then you have the treatment plan. And therefore, we're going to do this, this, you're going to take this pill, and it's going to cost this much. So that idea is called metrics, analysis, action. And we do that every time. It's a logical sequence. That way we know that whatever action we take is predicated upon something that we know is true on a checklist we know we can accomplish to solve a particular problem that we identify with the metrics.
How did you get into this space? I feel like people don't just wake up and become masters of analytics. You used to run analytics at Yahoo.
Yes.
So, what did you do before Blitzmetrics? And then take me back to the beginning of your story so we can figure out how you became the person that you are today. You've read over 3,000 books.
4,000 now.
4,000 now?
Yeah.
Jeez, that
I
was
hung
like...
out at the library, that's all I did. I didn't speak English, so that's how I had to learn. I represented California in the spelling bee in 1988, flew to DC.
Wow.
I didn't speak English, and I was so antisocial, or I was so shy. A lot of us are like this. A lot of entrepreneurs, like they feel like they have to go out and talk real fast and shake everybody's hands. Yeah. And I wasn't like that. And I like to be able to measure things. And I knew I was good at math. I'm Asian, of course. But when I was in 2nd and 3rd grade, I saw that the snack shack only had 2 or 3 kinds of snacks. So I would go down to the local pharmacy or drugstore or whatever, and I would buy lots of stuff, and I would sell Now and Laters. It was like the grape and strawberry and banana flavored Now and Laters. Yeah. And I would buy them at 5 cents, and I would sell them at 7. And so I did arbitrage, and I grew that larger and larger, and then I had to use a little database, and back then it was Lotus 123 because there wasn't Windows and Excel, and people would start to take loans from me because, oh, can I borrow $1 some candy? I'll pay you when I get my allowance next week. And that's what taught me economics. That's what taught me entrepreneurship. That's what taught me it wasn't how much you get paid per hour, but it's how much value you can generate. And so I took that, and I went to the London School of Economics. I went to SMU. I had some mentors, and imagine you're me, you're just some kid, you're selling things from a dormitory, you're selling $500 a day worth of stuff, which got all the other kids pissed off. And then you're thinking, how do I scale my business? I got to be able to teach other people. I've got to be able to expand the amount of shopping that I can do. And I realized that mentorship was actually the key, because I knew how to get good grades. I was on a full scholarship. I ran track and field D1, that kind of thing. But the thing that I was missing, which I think entrepreneurs need to realize, is you're so busy in the execution day-to-day, trying to optimize your business, look at the traffic, PPC, whatever it is, that you forget the people side. And it wasn't until I got Al Casey, who was the CEO of American Airlines, he took me aside and said, let me open some opportunities for you. Let me introduce you to the CEO of Morgan Stanley. Let me get you a job my first real job was actually at American Airlines. That's how I got this whole thing. I pissed off a lot of people because I could always run to the CEO and no one could really get mad at me. But it was a combination of that mentorship against the math that really made things happen for me. And actually, if it wasn't for the fact that people opened doors for me, then I wouldn't have gotten the opportunity to work at Yahoo, and then that Yahoo thing wouldn't have then escalated into what we're doing with Facebook ads and all this digital stuff, like working with you guys.
So I just have so many questions for you. I mean, we're friends, so look like I to ask those to you, not just on the interview. Yeah. But from 4,000 books read, from running analytics at Yahoo, and having that experience at American Airlines, and now working with billion-dollar clients, what do you feel like is maybe a couple, I'd rather not just one, but a couple of some of the best lessons that you've learned on your journey that you feel like other people can benefit from?
Number one, anything that you know, document it. If people believe, and the converse is true, if someone believes that they know how to do something, I want to see a checklist on how they execute it, because I want to know that it can be repeated. So if I'm building a business, you can take any business and break it down into the DNA of the checklist on how they, McDonald's has French fries. No matter what McDonald's you go to, it's delicious. I was in Asia all last month, and I went to McDonald's in different countries, right? Think about your business processes broken into that, because that is how you ensure consistency with the brand, and more importantly, it's how you attract and train your top people. So everything that we do, everything that I do, I've made sure I've documented. And when I've read all these autobiographies, I love autobiographies, not biographies, autobiographies, I'm thinking, what are the checklists that these people did? So Ray Kroc, when he built McDonald's, Sam Walton with Walmart, what were the checklists that they went through, and how can I use those checklists in my business? I don't care about the stories. I want to pull out those particular checklists.
And that's what I love, is you've sort of reverse engineered how to become successful by learning about other people's processes. And so I'm excited to dive in with your business, because we can share kind of how you think and how you learn to implement these processes into every business to help them grow. We'll be right back with Dennis Yu. I'm Mark Lack on Business Rockstars, connecting a community of entrepreneurs. You can join us on Facebook, Twitter, and online at businessrockstars.com.